do what? Free on a sofa. Free on a sofa.
Hello and welcome to Three on a Sofa. We are back for our second edition of our political monthly episode. What are you doing, you penis?
Gurgling.
God, my misophonia just
I'm
went
gurgling.
through the fucking charts.
So Daniel Ashman is back with us on the sofa. Tim isn't here, but I'm wearing the t-shirt of his band, just, you know, because, well, why not?
Well, yeah, but where?
And our new addition to Lad Reviews, you may see her in some of our other stuff, is Phoebe. She is not quite male, but she has the right mentality, don't you, Phoebe?
And genitalia.
So today's episode, we're going to talk about, well, some things that have happened previously in the last month or so and some things moving forward. Firstly, we're going to start with North Korea, South Korea and that little friendship that's happening there. We're then going to go on to what happened with the bombing in Syria. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Windrush scandal and also the anti-Semitism row within the Labour Party. But let's start in Asia. Daniel, what do you think about what's going on in North and South Korea?
Well, I think any step towards lasting peace is a good step, isn't it?
Fantastic. Thanks for that great little anecdote there, Daniel Ashman. Phoebe, what do you think?
I think that watching back with the handshake that went on between the two, there's a lot of sexual tension. Anyone else get that vibe?
I wasn't getting the vibe, no.
No, well, watch it. We'll post the clip.
So
Yeah,
it's
you
more
can
like
do a screen.
There's a little bit of like when
Put it up there.
Yeah, we'll insert it here over my face.
Okay.
When
I
he
need to be
crossed
pretty
over.
big.
So when they went over into North Korea and they were holding hands, there was just this, like, you know.
A little bit of Kim Jong under toi.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You see what I did there?
Oh, I see it, and I don't know if I want it to.
so what actually went on then?
Right,
Did they meet
basically.
on the train platform?
Okay, well,
what happened?
Let's
It
roll
was
it back.
romantic. That's what it was.
There was obviously tensions. There's been a lot ongoing war between
Sexual
North and
tensions.
maybe sexual tensions. There's been an ongoing war between North and South Korea for many years. Lots of tension. The border's been a very dodgy ground, people from North Korea not being able to get out, basically. And they're talking about making the country one as union. But actually, this isn't the first time that the leaders of these two countries have met in recent years. You know, his father, Kim Jong-il, met with the president of South Korea at the time. I don't remember his name because he wasn't a despot nutcase. But this isn't the first time this has happened. So Donald Trump's been given a lot of credit for trying to get them to meet and disarm nuclear-wise. But Dan, tell us what happened with the nuclear bombs in the mountains.
Apparently, they did a test and they destabilised the mountain and it's starting to sink a bit and shit.
Stink a bit and shit.
Stinking of shit.
Shit does stink.
Shit does stink.
Atomic weapons aren't good. No one should have them. No one should have
No.
the right to destroy hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people's lives through one fucking thing.
Language,
Yeah.
Daniel.
Wow, come on.
Now the thing is that the bomb that was dropped on Japan by the Americans was 15 megatons or something like that.
Hiroshima.
That was a bit close to the bone.
Hiroshima.
You didn't know. Hiroshima is not appropriate. You did do that.
Right,
Well,
we'll listen to it
Brilliant.
back.
15 megawatts, million mega.
Megatons, they measure it.
The bomb that was dropped on the mountain in North Korea was 100. Now, bear in mind the bomb that was dropped in Japan caused 4 earthquakes afterwards. So what they're saying is that the earthquakes that followed this explosion have destabilised the mountain. And Kim Jong-un's a bit like, I can't down with nuclear. So there's a little bit of that involved. What do you think about that, Phoebe?
Well, has it divide between them been going on for like 60 years?
Probably longer than that. I think it's longer than 60 years, is it not, Mr. Ashman?
I don't know. I hazard a guess that it was during...
Bringing you the facts, ladies and gentlemen.
I hazard a
I'm
guess
pretty
it was
sure.
after the Second World War.
It's
with
at least-
boundaries.
I think it's
and
60
communism.
years. Let's ask Siri. How long was the divide between North and South Korea?
Here's what I found on the web for how long.
After
was the
World
divide
War
between North
II.
and South Korea.
That's what I said.
So how long is that about?
70
So,
years.
70 years. Well, there we are. We're
That's what I
closest
said.
to
I
the...
said that, didn't I?
Well done.
Well-
Ding, 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 ding. Point for Daniel Ashman.
Get him!
He doesn't win much.
No.
So, actually,
Don't like
just
the closer. Come on!
speaking of which,
Oh,
if he,
why have you not got shoes on?
Oh, shit.
he doesn't wear shoes. Just speaking of which, but after the last show, Dan did tie
Well, they
himself
come- yeah.
to a frackingness and got arrested. And you're going to be in court soon, Dan. Tell us quickly about that whilst we're on it.
It's a case management hearing, but the fight to stop this industry from destroying our air even more and our water supply and everything like that goes on. It's on continuing.
So what's going to happen with the court case? Are you going to win? Are you going to lose? Are you going to get banged up?
To be honest with you, I think I don't trust them.
So you might not be in the next episode because you might be in jail. Cool.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I
Okay.
mean, you don't have a face for jailbait, so you'll be alright.
What are you trying? Oh,
That's harsh.
Saying that he's not rude.
No, there's someone for everyone in prison. Donald Trump's been getting a lot of credit for the situation in North Korea, and Donald Trump has obviously not deserved a lot of credit for many things, but he kind of has had a bit of an impact here, has he not?
he's done that, but also signed trying to get rid of the Clean Water Act at the same time.
Forget what we're talking about. We're not talking about the Clean Water Act.
In your face!
Oh, always a fun show at the three on the sofa. So what I'm saying is does Donald Trump deserve some credit?
No.
North Korea will put on the axis of evil, and there's this YouTube video of a general, I think General Clark, doing an interview on Democracy Now!, and he was saying that they had a 5-year plan to topple all of these regimes. I mean, they're delayed, but all of these countries have fallen since.
And what were those countries?
Well, Libya, Iraq,
What do you
Syria.
think that North Korea is going to fall then?
Colonel Gaddafi, he got rid of his nukes, and then they went in.
Basically, what you're saying is
You think this is a decoy?
Trump's waiting for them to get rid of the nukes before he.
Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe going, making strong relationships with the South is going to kind of give them a certain amount of protection. It seems like a very positive step. So.
I mean, with anything political, really, usually if it seems too good to be true, it normally is.
Good point. We'll move on from the Trump career situation. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know how long that's going to last. As I say, they've met in the past. This could be just a flash in the penis. Kanye West this week has gone a little bit mental, has he not? Speaking of which, he's become friends with Trump. They've been having this nice little meeting, a few little comments on Twitter.
All part of the tax haven class.
He lost 9 million followers in a day after his pro-Trump. Okay, well, at the point that I read an article, he'd lost 9 million at that point.
It was about 12.
12 million? Yeah. But let's carry
Well,
on.
I have studied
Bringing you the
this.
facts!
I've studied this to death. I've literally been watching the movements of this whole Twitter fiasco.
What's the situation then, Phoebe? Give us the lowdown.
Kanye has, he's been a ghost on Twitter for, I think, a few years now, actually, for good reason. And it's kind of one of those things where you go, oh, we want Kanye to come back on Twitter and do his usual weird rants. And then when he does come back, you go, oh, now we remember why he left. So he's come back onto Twitter, preaching a lot about self-love and all of that mumbo-jumbo.
What was it he said about Trump?
He says that he agrees with Trump and but not all of his policies. However, he said that Trump and him, in quotations, have dragon energy, which he said that he respects. He then posted a photo of him wearing a Make America Great Again hat. All of the famous rappers such as Kendrick Lamar, Rihanna, etc., they unfollowed Kanye relatively soon after.
Did he not also say that unemployment for black people is at the lowest it's been for years, and that's down to Donald Trump?
No, he might have done. What he actually said was the reason why he's aligning himself with Donald Trump now is because Obama was in office for 8 years, and he says that Obama did nothing for Chicago in that time, which is not true because Obama actually funded a load of stuff for the youth, like creative arts schemes, etc. But then as soon as Donald Trump came into office, they cancelled all of those schemes. Chance the Rapper, who is the kind of co-creator of Kanye's latest album, which was Life of Pablo, tweeted after that, not all black people have to be Democrats, which is fair. However, Trump, who is notoriously racist, homophobic, sexist, xenophobic, etc., shouldn't, I have lost my train of thought.
Oh no, it's all masochistic, There's something masochistic about it all.
Definition?
Like they enjoy inflicting pain, some of these people, don't
Well,
they? Like Trump and stuff like that. They revel in
the speculation that some people are having is that Kanye is notoriously controversial. Take the time where he said that Bill Cosby was innocent.
Who got found guilty.
Yeah, and take the time that he...
Again, recently, Bill Cosby.
Yeah, so he's notoriously controversial. He's also having an album released in June.
Donald Trump?
No.
Oh, Kanye.
Kanye.
It'd be better if Donald Trump had an album coming out,
with
though.
Kid Cudi. People are saying, is this just a sort of uproar to generate sales and, drama? However, I think that's completely counterproductive because he's, number one, he's lost like 12 million followers. Number two, he's lost all of his famous...
Is he asked about losing 12 million followers, though?
It's about tarnishing your own name. Do you know what I mean? There's being controversial.
I mean, in terms of making money, is this kind of like some weird thing where in a couple of years' time he's going to sell loads of albums to loads of alt-right motherfuckers? He's going to... that Kanye West impression will never appear again.
Jesus Christ, what are you
Instead
trying
of
to do?
me saying Hiroshima, and now you do that. Okay,
Your turn now, Dan.
basically, Kim Kardashian West, his wife,
Yeah.
came out onto Twitter. Not come out. She's not a lesbian.
Came out of the closet.
She's come out on Twitter and she's basically saying that all of the allegations that Kanye is mentally ill, that he's having a psychotic break, that this is all stemmed from a mental illness, is complete rubbish. She said he is mentally sound. He is just politically aligned with Trump.
I mean,
Does it
Dan.
matter?
So this is the issue. People are saying it does matter because he has a large social following. He is a spokesperson for our generation. He's created a mass amount of stir in the
Is he a
streetwear.
spokesperson?
Yeah, he is, because he's changed the way that we view fashion. He's changed the way that we listen to music. He is a creative genius. You can't take that away from him. However, some of the things that he comes out with are nonsense, and you allow him the room to make mistakes. However, it's got to the point now. Almost he's done damage beyond repair.
But politically,
Continue listening.
that was quite a non-political thing. But the reason why we're talking about it is Dan's asking, does it matter Kanye West becoming friends and aligning himself with Donald Trump? The reason why it does matter is, as Phoebe says, is it's about influence. And unfortunately, someone of that stature has influence over the youth. And a lot of black people who are obviously very angry with how they're being treated in America at the moment. But there's no doubt that there was a kind of large section of the black community that wasn't happy with Obama.
Well, we just got to listen to what they say.
Exactly.
Speaking about the black community, let's move over the Atlantic Ocean and talk about the Windrush scandal that has been happening in the UK. Now, Daniel, can you kind of give us an abridged version of what's been happening? You were terrible at this in the last episode. Go.
I thought I did all right. I was quite pleased.
Go again.
Well, back in 2010, they destroyed documents of
Wait, let's go way back. What is the
came over
Windrush?
in the 50s and the
What-
60s.
Yeah.
Basically, they told people there's loads of work in the United Kingdom, come over and you'll be sorted. And people came and they've contributed to society.
They helped rebuild the country after the
Yeah.
Second World War.
Yeah.
They were part nurses and doctors, people who helped keep the NHS alive.
And now they've been facing deportation.
Well, a lot have been deported.
Yeah, they have been.
And the children have been deported.
And
Now,
the government, they didn't want to give any numbers out.
No. The
They're
interesting
sitting
fact
on
is,
the numbers, the
in
facts.
2012, when all of this kind of started, was the Olympics. And part of the Olympic opening ceremony, they had Windrush boat coming into the stadium.
Yeah, Danny Boyle directed that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have this thing where it's like, oh, that's part of our culture.
Yeah.
But we were sending all of those people back, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Now, who was the Home Secretary at that point, Daniel?
That was our beloved Prime Minister. Well,
Theresa
she's not
May.
my Prime Minister. She might be your Prime Minister, but she ain't mine. I'll
So
tell you that.
Theresa May was technically...
Treason, May.
Theresa May.
That's how it's pronounced.
She was responsible for this happening in 2012. There's no doubt about that. But what's happened, she's now pinning this on Amber Rudd. Last week, obviously, it came out about the leaked memo about Amber Rudd missing an email that stated about kicking out as many people as
Don't
possible.
they have phones? Shouldn't they be like talking
Daniel.
to each other?
Is this not just another smokescreen, really, to
Yeah.
pass the blame to Amber Rudd, when actually the person to blame is Theresa May? So let's say, hang on, she missed an email about targets for kicking out immigrants, which is basically what the email said, is these are the targets to kick out immigrants, and therefore, we're boring you, Phoebe. So therefore, missing those targets means that she is now to blame for the whole Windrush.
No.
She is now to blame for the wind. Yeah. She's responsible for the Windrush scandal, when actually it's clearly Theresa May.
Right. Well, I mean, they're shit, aren't they?
Brilliant.
Right,
It's
shit.
falling apart. It's falling apart.
No, well, I mean, what else is there to say, man? Like, for
Oh
fuck's sake.
God, his toenail.
It's quite big, isn't it?
It's not the bigness,
It's the shape.
jacket.
I don't know if you can. Let's just bring it
jacket.
here so we can get it in focus.
It's
That is
like
that's an
serrated.
impressive toenail.
So-
Oh my
Serrated.
God, that could cut.
That could. You got.
That's
you got.
a slasher.
You got to protect
Anyway,
yourself.
Windrush, they are now coming out and saying that they will all be allowed to stay. So they're basically admitting fault. But someone is going to have to fall on their sword.
They've done so much stupid, horrible shit that they shouldn't be in government.
Will someone fall on their sword?
No.
But what's interesting is a lot of these things keep getting missed. Like, go on then, Dan, put yourself up.
Gotta have some ginger beer, ain't you? It's a bit of fire in your mouth, isn't it?
Get on with it. Don't want your red wine. Right, moving through where we were on. I did just spit on you. Yeah, sorry.
Well, the point is that rounding up human beings and locking them away is a big deal. It's not good.
Why are you looking at me like that? Weird.
I was just thinking, right on it.
Well, so you're trying to come on to me. Buy me dinner first. Roast potato man.
Roast potato man.
Red wine.
Oh, it stinks. Moving on.
Swiftly.
We're now going to speak a little bit about the Labour Party, the Windrush scandal. We've kind of said Theresa May's at fault.
Revolution.
If anyone's going to take the blame and fall on the sword, it'll probably be Amber Rudd. That would be my prediction. What we're now going to talk about is the anti-Semitism row in Labour. Now, a lot of people, this has been going on for a while, and a lot of people are getting quite bored with it. Obviously, as 3 Labour supporters, we're quite bored with it, but I'm going to try and sit on the. You're not a Labour supporter, all right, Dan. Shut up.
Dan, what the
No,
fuck?
no. Well, I want him to get in.
Are you Green Party?
But no, I'm just not a Crown person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not for the Crown, really.
I have no idea what he's going on about.
Absolutely.
So, if you could pick someone, who would you pick?
Well, it's a corporation, like.
Oh, for God's
Oh,
sake. Right,
geez.
anyway, you answer like a politician. You do realise that you never answer the question I ask you. Are you going to vote in the next election?
Nah.
Okay, but if you had to.
Wait, we're doing a political show and you're not even going to vote?
I vote in many ways.
In what ways do you vote?
We're trying to stop these guys from doing something really stupid.
If you got a
All the
piece of
time,
paper in
mate.
front of you and it said cross.
I don't.
Hang on, we did this outside in the garden before about being bummed by a monkey or bumming a monkey, and you went along with it. So answer this question now. We won't tell you which answer we picked there.
I'm not.
But which political which who knows?
Look,
Which political party would
Jeremy
you pick?
Corbyn is a temporary solution to a much bigger problem.
Okay, it's so irrelevant still.
It's
if
not
you
irrelevant.
had to vote.
If I absolutely had to vote, I'd vote Jeremy Corbyn.
Great.
Thank you.
So the point is we've got 3 Jeremy Corbyn supporters. So just leave it there for let me carry on with the bloody show, because otherwise we'll be here all month. So Jeremy Corbyn is put under a lot of pressure by people within the Labour Party, saying that there's anti-Semitism troubles, and also Maureen Lipman's come out and she said, I don't need a Tory thanks to Jeremy Corbyn.
She did that with that Miliband, didn't she?
Oddly, that was quite similar to my Kanye West impression. But the point is a few years ago, there were a few things done by
Shaka Khan.
Not Shaka Khan, she's not an MP for the Labour Party. And they were suspended, apologised and allowed back in. Ken Livingstone came out with a few comments which were pretty anti-Semitic, allying the Jews and the Nazis.
Well, you know, Zionism has been a movement before the Second World War.
We'll come on to Zionism in a second. What's happened is Ken Livingstone was then reappointed, but without apologising, and you know he's now ended up being suspended for some other comments.
Tony Blair's still a member. Kills hundreds of thousands of people in the war of aggression.
Okay, we're trying to talk about the anti-Semitism.
Oh
That's what that.
Tony Blair aside, there has been lots of little instances of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. Now, Jeremy Corbyn is an anti-Zionist. Fact. There are many anti-Zionists within the party. Anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism are different, Daniel, Phoebe. What say ye?
One wants people not to be harmed by all that's going on, and they say, so abide by international law. Israel isn't doing it, and so people are going, why are you doing it? Why are you blind? Look, fucking, there's another dead child over there.
But are we not like picking and choosing the wars we want to be against, though? I mean, obviously what's going on in Palestine is horrific, but also what's going on in Yemen is horrific.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
You know, like what went on in Syria.
All the adults involved in that situation, creating that reality, need to fucking take a step back.
Reality?
Jesus.
Well, you went a little bit all up to your master then, did our Danielson.
Reality.
It just bursts out of me sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you know, for instance, what happened in Syria, where there was one day of bombing of places that were empty. We're talking about the situation with Skripal and, you know, it taking them weeks and millions of pounds to clean up that area where they put a tiny little bit of Novichok on a doorknob, and it takes millions of pounds and an army and everything. Yet we're bombing chemical weapons factories in Syria. I mean, no offence, but is that not going to spread the chemicals everywhere? But yet, many people will continually go on about what's happening in Israel and Palestine and move on from... Like, the war in Syria is still happening.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I saw something on Twitter the other day regarding Duma, that bombing for peace is like fucking for virginity. It makes no sense. It's counterproductive, makes no sense, and it's just, all of it is horrendous, including the virginity part.
But do you understand what I'm saying, though, about
but
Labour should shouldn't just be picking on Israel, they should also be picking on Saudi Arabia, they should also be picking, which to be fair, they do pick on Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
But Myanmar, for
International
instance,
law, man.
Myanmar at the moment,
not bad.
there's trouble with people, having to flee to China because of what's happening in Myanmar. That's been a war that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
But
So there's shit going on.
do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost picking and choosing. So
We
is
have
that
to
why?
communicate
No, but is that why people are saying that they're anti-Semitic because they're just going after Israel?
Well, no, I don't think people are just going after Israel. I think
Well, the Labour Party.
Israel was created with a UN draft after the Second World War, but before they signed in 1919 the Balfour Declaration. Rothschild signed it.
And what was that?
That was basically a promise after the Ottoman Empire fell. Was a promise to create a Jewish homeland.
Okay.
But there were conditions to the Balfour Declaration that you mustn't do this. Now, of course, all of these things have kind of happened.
Transpired.
And there's an awful lot of trauma going on.
The thing is, though, there's no arguing this. I'm not arguing that there's shit going down between Israel and Palestine, and the people of Israel are responsible for a lot of it or all of it. But what I'm trying to say is there a problem in the Labour Party with anti-Semitism? There are many instances where MPs have been anti-Semitic.
I feel like...
So much so that Shami Chakrabarti had to do a study, and she came out and she said that there wasn't an inherent problem within the Labour Party, but there were a lot of instances that need to be dealt with, and therefore a new system has to be put in place to eradicate that. That system was supposed to be put in place and wasn't. And it's only now that the row has come back out that Jeremy Corbyn has finally put that system into place. Only very recently in the last month, even though in 2016 Chakrabarti said that should happen. Now bear in mind, this is something that should have been dealt with before.
Okay.
Jeremy Corbyn surely has to take some of the blame there, Dan.
Okay. Well, all of the examples people give of, look, there's anti-Semitism here. Someone's either been barred or it's been investigated. They're actually disproving their own argument by pointing to what actual disciplinary things are going on. Now, some of it's piss weak, man, from what I can see. Israel is a historic ally, recent historic ally, and they get a lot of help and assistance and money, technology and everything involved within that. They test loads of weapons.
But what's that
in
got to do
Gaza.
with the anti-Semitism in Labour?
Okay.
Stop telling me about what Israel have got going on, because I'm not bothered. What I'm trying to say is...
No, but they're trying to equate anti-Semitism with talking about it, with
Zionism, anti-Zionism.
addressing them. It's just like abided by international law, man. Like
Who?
these Israel, the Crown don't do it.
Yeah, but what
either.
about Saudi
Okay.
Arabia? What about Myanmar?
Yeah, Saudi
what about all these...
Arabia,
Can I
no,
make a point?
Yes.
Okay, so my point is that within every single party, there are some people with views that don't actually align up to the party. Jeremy Corbyn has to be held responsible for his party members. He was held accountable for his post that he made in 2012, where he was slightly, not even anti-Semitic.
No.
He made a questionable post about that mural.
Okay, just for those that haven't seen it, the mural that came out recently that had the richest people in the world sat around a table, the artist was talking about how the rich control the world, nothing to do with Jews. In fact, there's 6 people around the table and only 2 of them were Jewish and the rest were Christian. In fact, one was a pagan, wasn't they, Dan? What then was said was actually, to be fair, Corbyn was really fighting for the freedom of speech more than anything else in his comment. Yeah. But I think the mistake Corbyn made was actually apologising for that, because apologising kind of admits blame, doesn't it?
However, apologising usually means that you can move on from the said taboo issue quicker. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just apologise to keep the peace, and so you can move forward and move on from it.
So fundamentally what I'm trying to get at, and to kind of go against what I've been saying, is this not all kind of a smokescreen similarly to what they're using with Amber Rudd to pass the buck, to get away from the fact that there's the Windrush scandal, the fact that they're trying to take all the, stopping feeding children at schools, there's so many things that they're trying to get away from.
I think ultimately it's like, what can we say about Labour that will cause, it's a taboo issue, it will cause controversy, it will cause an outcry and outrage within the community, and it will make sure that people have to apologise for wrongdoings that have happened, whether or not they're actually essentially really, really wrong. So I think it's just an excuse to tarnish Labour's name.
Because the other thing is for a change, it isn't all about Jeremy Corbyn, it's about the Labour Party.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, it's just before some big council elections on Thursday, May the 3rd. So it seems like good timing to kind of slant the Labour Party.
Yeah.
I saw a graph.
Well done, Daniel. Great anecdote.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
No, I'll leave it there.
Great, thanks for that. So that has been 3 on a Sofa until next month in May. Thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure. Do subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. I've been Marcus J. Richardson.
I've been Phoebe.
And I've been Dan.
Cheers.
Until next time.
Follow me on
Peace.
Instagram.
Have a nice day. fun.